Good morning or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. For today's word rescue session, we are going to have a look at the word solidarité. Now, what's the issue here? Solidarité can cause real headaches for French to English translators. Why? Because French speakers and writers use solidarité much more often than their English-speaking counterparts use solidarity for historical, political, and cultural reasons, among others. Because solidarity is an abstract concept and English has a preference for the concrete. We want to know who's doing what here. And because English has no common everyday equivalent for the adjective solidaire. We do have the word solidary, but it's used mostly in exceptional cases and isn't suitable in most contexts. But don't just take my word for it. I'm not going to read through this whole passage, but you can always pause the video and have a look. But the point that this academic was making in the 1960s is that solidarity is extremely vague and indeterminate. It can't really be used to say much meaningfully. And my favorite part of this quotation is that when we do talk about solidarity, we are likely to become bogged down in a morass of imprecision, which is exactly the kind of thing we want to be avoiding as translators. So what, I hear you ask? Well, there's a clear implication for us as French to English translators. We can, of course, use constructions like show of solidarity, gesture of solidarity, or solidarity-based to render solidarité or solidaire when we see them in French. But surely we can do better because we want to move from the abstract to the concrete. So if you encounter solidarité or solidaire in a French source text, then 9 times out of 10 you'll need to think laterally. And your readers will thank you for it. So I'm going to explore some examples here. I'm not going to read through each example in full because we're short on time, but again, you can always pause the video. But we're going to focus on how the idea of solidarité or solidaire has been translated each time. The first idea is to do with supporting good causes. So here we have something to do with work camps, youth work camps, and engagement solidaire is a great way to support a good cause. Here we're talking about action solidaire. And again, it's supporting good causes. And initiative solidaire, same idea, supporting good causes. The next idea is community. Now we're talking about vie plus solidaire. What are they? They're community-focused cities in this example. We're talking about effort solidaire here, community spirit. Now we're talking about projets destinés à promouvoir la solidarité. What are these projets? They're community outreach projects, again, in this particular case. Now we're going to switch to using a verb, pull together. Il y a vraiment une solidarité de la part de tous les habitants. What are the local people doing? They're pulling together to help out the other people. Here we have an esprit de solidarité. Again, people are pulling together to help out their fellow human beings. Nice, concrete English. We're explaining here who does what. We're moving from the abstract to the concrete in each of these examples. And here we have an élan de solidarité. Again, an abstract concept. The entire community instinctively pulled together. Inclusive. This is the name of a French government ministry. The official translation, the Ministry for the Ecological and Inclusive Transition. Here we have l'économie sociale et solidaire. In this particular case, we didn't talk about the economy. We talked about socially responsible and inclusive businesses. Concrete. Achat solidaire, inclusive purchasing, in this case from suppliers hiring disabled and long-term unemployed staff. Before we wrap up, a few other ideas. Close-knit, une équipe dirigeante solidaire, a close-knit management team pursuing common priorities. Épargne solidaire, socially responsible funds. This is talking about employee savings and how they're invested. Stand shoulder to shoulder. Nous sommes solidaires avec les membres de la communauté. We stand shoulder to shoulder with members of the Sikh community. A force for good. Associations engagées dans des actions solidaires. Charities and non-profits acting as a force for good in the world. And finally, rétablissement du lien solidaire. Helping young people reconnect with others. I hope that's given you some inspiration and some ideas as to how to think laterally and move from the abstract to the concrete the next time you encounter solidarité or solidaire in a French source text. Thank you for listening and enjoy the rest of the day.